Hello everyone, this is Angela and welcome to my channel, Angie the ENTJ. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and click on the notifications bell so you'll know whenever I upload any new content. So in today's video, I will go into the infamous discussion regarding Eboni K. Williams and her dating preferences. And for frankly, those who do not know, here's the discussion. Let's watch and I'll be back.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it. If he owns the bus,
that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. Okay. Because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who we are as women and who they are in this society. I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date a bus driver. But we think that it's another human being's responsibility to give us what we need instead of us building together. I can build with a bus driver. I'd have my little stash over on the side in my prenup, but I could build.
So basically, Eboni K. Williams, when asked who she would allow herself to be intimate with and possibly create a family with, she stated that she will not date, and I'm paraphrasing, a salaried bus driver. She will only consider him if he owns the bus, not simply drives it for wages, okay? And to be honest with you, I think that she's being kind. I think that she's being considerate. The reason why I say so is because Eboni K. Williams is more in alignment dating-wise with Serena Williams and Eve and even Tamron Hall in terms of age and stage of life along with accomplishments. Whereas Iyanla Vanzant is more contemporary with Kris Jenner. You see, Iyanla, and I say this very respectfully, will soon be 70 years old. She's slightly older than Kris Jenner, who is currently 67 years old. So these ladies, Iyanla Vanzant and Kris Jenner, they're both grandmothers. Their children are already adults and are having children. Iyanla's legacy is already in place. And I hope that I am very wrong with what I'm about to say, but actuarial science shows that people in Iyanla's age range have more yesterdays than they do tomorrows. In other words, she's already inching closer to an earthly expiration date. So right now she can chill, relax, and be carefree with whoever she chooses to date with and to mate with. If she even chooses to marry, that's up to her, or not, that's fine too. She can be carefree. She doesn't have to, her procreation obligations probably is not going to happen. And again, I say that respectfully. Okay? She's at a different age and stage of her life than Eboni K. Williams. So Iyanla can tolerate dating and mating with a gentleman who is not on her level financially, socially, or otherwise. Iyanla can join Kris Jenner and get herself a version of a Corey Gamble. Okay? They can hang out and just enjoy one another's company. And Iyanla can foot the bill for it all because she, enjoys just having a friend to tag along with her wherever she goes. Fine. However, Eboni K. Williams, by comparison, is still at a point in her life where she can start a family. She wants her legacy to be more in alignment with one that is similar to Serena Williams, the one that she's creating with her multimillionaire entrepreneur and Reddit founder husband, Alexis Ohanian, and that's fine. Likewise, Eve, the rapper, did not unite with a blue-collar man. She said, "I do," to Maximilian Cooper, whose net worth is more than 60 million bucks. This is why I say that Eboni K. Williams was actually being nice, because she stated that she would date a man who owns a bus without even mentioning anything about net worth, despite being a contemporary to Serena Williams, Eve, or Tamron Hall. Tamron Hall's husband is also a businessman. Okay, and y'all over here dragging her all across social media because she said she only want to be with a man that owns the bus. She didn't even mention net worth. But here I am, I'm naming people who are married to men that have a high net worth. So see, here's the issue. For those of you who have something negative to say about Eboni K. Williams and the fact that she said what she said, you all got your feelings hurt when you heard a woman state, more or less, that she will not shrink herself. She will not shrink wrap. She will not compact herself to keep a man from feeling small. And before I go further, listen, I want to emphasize that there's nothing wrong with a blue-collar job. I'm not on here calling bus drivers dusties and truck drivers dusties or anything like that. They make good money for the average person. They do. See, there are plenty of bus drivers, train conductors, construction trade workers, postal workers, and so forth, who are solidly within the middle class, and they are doing well. Many own homes and live comfortably within their own context, and I say that respectfully. I personally know a retired city bus driver. He used to be neighbors to one of my relatives. His wife was always a stay-at-home mother and a housewife. When he retired, he bought a house that is worth nearly $500,000 a few years ago, while giving his old home to his adult daughter to stay in. And that is the house that they moved from. It's paid for completely, and it's worth over $200,000. So I'm not here to bash the average blue-collar worker. I actually admire them. However, here's the truth. Whether I like it or not, whether you like it or not, his income is just a fraction of what Eboni K. Williams has achieved for herself on her own 2 feet. I believe a $500,000 home is a very nice home, but it does not compare to the value of a $5 million home that Eboni K. Williams, Eve, Serena Williams, Tamron Hall, Kris Jenner, and a young Avancet can all afford to pay the monthly mortgage amounts on, or pay for outright. Some of the most highly paid bus drivers will not make enough money to live in the types of communities that each of these ladies would more than likely want to reside in. And as far as children are concerned, these people are going to have their children enrolled in some type of top private school, which will position them to enter into some of the best universities, along with allowing them to network with people who have a similar net worth. So as much as I admire blue-collar workers, and yes, they do work very hard, their salaries will not be enough for someone on Eboni K. Williams's level. It may be enough for someone who is on their own level, and that's fine. And when I say level, I'm not looking down at the blue-collar worker, the bus driver, the train conductor, the postal worker. I'm not looking down on you. I'm just keeping it real, though. If you only make, let's just say on the high end, $200,000 a year, that's a lot of money for the average person in the United States. That's true. But we're talking about someone who surpasses that many times over. So she has the right to choose who she's going to lay down with, and that's okay. You see, and beyond the salary, because I think that's where a lot of people get caught up at. They're pulling out net worths and they're pulling out salaries. Beyond salary, there is a lifestyle component. Eboni K. Williams is at a place where she can step away right now from what she's doing, invest, and actually become wealthier. She can go anywhere in the world at a moment's notice if she chooses to. She can afford to pay staff to handle day-to-day affairs while she's away from her home. However, by comparison, when Eboni K. Williams wants to jet set to Kuala Lumpur in a couple of days, Mr. Bus Driver will have to remain behind or risk losing his job along with all of his benefits. This is because he needs to negotiate for his time off for a vacation well in advance, and he probably can only do that once a year. He's not allowed to tell his boss that he will leave to go to Kuala Lumpur in a couple of days and then turn around and tell them that he will call them when he's ready to return. If he tries that, there'll be another person sitting on his bus in his seat and taking his job. However, by comparison, Serena Williams and Alexis Ohanian can jet set to any corner of the globe and not miss a beat. Eve and Maximilian can leave their son with a nanny and spend the weekend in Ibiza and not miss a beat. Tamara Hall and her husband Stephen Greener can send their son to a private school where the annual tuition exceeds the base salary of the bus driver or the postal worker or the electrician and so forth. And again, I'm not bashing blue-collar professions. In fact, I believe that everyone should know how to do a manual skill that will enable them to earn an income, or at least have an insight on how stuff is fabricated and put together, at least to know how to earn an income, so that no matter what their circumstances, whether it's being a barber or a beautician or a jewelry maker, you name it, they'll always be able to earn an income. So I've covered salaries, right? I've covered lifestyles. I'm going to end this by saying, listen, Eboni K. Williams is well within her femininity by saying that she needs somebody that's at least on her level as far as thinking like an entrepreneur. That is okay. Because see, Ebony, like Tamron Hall, Serena, and Williams, and Eve, are on the side of meeting the demands of motherhood. You see, Iyanla and Van Zant and Kris Jenner, who is her contemporary as far as dating is concerned, are well beyond the years of meeting the demands of motherhood. They are both finished with the obligations of pregnancy, of breastfeeding, potty training, rushing to the emergency room in the early hours of the morning because of a fever, while still having to go to work a few hours later. They are done with the obligations of having to do school runs, doctors and dentist visits, and so forth as far as that obligation is concerned. They are finished with having to develop this beautiful, precious being from babbling to speaking and teaching them how to manage frustration. Okay? They're beyond those years. If they do these things, which many grandmothers do, it is voluntarily on their parts. They don't have to be up in the middle of the night comforting a teething baby, okay? They don't have to be up in the middle of the night changing poopy diapers. They don't have to be up in the middle of the night nursing, okay? But Tamron Hall, Serena Williams, Eve, and if Eboni K. Williams decides to walk down the path of marriage and motherhood, you know, they're there. So I think it's wise for Eboni K. Williams to be aligned with a gentleman who can expand his income or who already has a high net worth to meet the demands of their life, maintain their lifestyle, while she simultaneously meets the demand of marriage and the baby carriage. And like I said before, I think she was being nice. Y'all tried to call her an elitist. No, she wasn't. She was just being real, and y'all couldn't take it. And besides from that, from a parenting perspective, and this may step on some toes, ruffle some feathers, I would feel some type of way if my daughter, who I worked 2 and 3 jobs for, became a beautician, opened up a beautician salon. I'm sitting up here taking her to beauty pageants. I'm there every step of the way with her. I didn't have a life while she went through school, went through college, and now she's here, she's arrived. I would feel some type of way if my daughter, who's knocking on 40, is aligned with a man who's also knocking on 40 and hasn't achieved at least a minimum of a college degree. As a man, men don't have menstrual cycles. Most men are not custodial parents. That is, if they do have children. So why couldn't he at a minimum, accomplish that before he started placing his eyes on my daughter. That's how I would feel. And I'm just keeping it real. I'll be looking at you like, wait a minute, hold on. Because she has everything and you don't have much. So the obligation of motherhood is going to be on her if she gets with you. But also the obligation of providing too. No, I would feel some type of way. I would. I'll be wondering where you going with it and what you're about to do. I would. Now, if I had a daughter, if I was, someone who worked at a factory and I only at the most made $100,000 in a year, and my daughter aligned with someone who made $200,000 a year, then I'd be okay with it. I would, if that were me. But I'm looking at it from the angle of Eboni K. Williams's parents, particularly her mom. Now, I'd be looking at you some kind of way, because I know that the time will come that it's time to take care of older parents. And here she is, Eboni K. Williams. She's positioned to comfortably do that. If something happened to Eboni K. Williams' mother and the mother needed to have round-the-clock care, Eboni K. Williams can comfortably live and help her mother. But what about the dude who hasn't accomplished as much as she has, and something happens to his mother? Chances are high it will be his wife that's helping to take care of that woman. So in a way, it becomes a resource grab. And that's why I say I would have a problem with it as a parent. And I also further emphasize why I say that Eboni K. Williams was being kind when she mentioned that the bus driver would just simply have to own the bus, but she didn't mention anything about net worth. So if your feathers are ruffled and your toes are stepped on, I didn't say what I just said for that impact, but I just knew it was going to happen. And this brings me back to Iyanla. I respect her. I actually like her. However, young women are not going to tote the obligation of marriage and motherhood along with the obligation of providing. Those days are over with. All Eboni K. Williams said was, meet me close to a level where I already am. You understand? If I'm climbing Mount Everest and I reach the summit, don't expect me to climb back down, pick you up and put you on my back and drag you and your weight up to the summit where I'm at. If I got to the summit on my own 2 feet, at least meet me close to the summit where I can see you. That's all she was saying. So, well, anyway, I gotta go. That's all I have for now. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and click on the notifications bell. And take care until next time. Thank you for watching.